Alright everyone, thankfully we start off today with happy news, which is that Donald Trump is now considering creating a Department of Government Efficiency. The acronym for this is DOGE, or DOGE, which of course brings to mind Elon Musk, Dogecoin and meme culture and stuff like that. When asked if Elon Musk would be part of such a project, Trump said, well, he is a busy guy, so I don't think he can really do that, but he can consult. That's probably a good idea. While Elon Musk is no purist when it comes to free market efficiency, definitely as a corporate leader and not necessarily a corporatist, he might have some good insight into that. That's probably a good idea. I strongly support the notion. The idea that you can eliminate elements of the government, you cut 5% of the manpower from this bureau, and these two bureaus overlap, so you decided to redefine their mission parameters. The idea of making the government more efficient, I can't see why anyone would stand against that. Hell, even people on the left, unless you're like a hardcore tanky or something like that, I would think that you would want government to be more efficient. You save money. You return some of that government manpower back to the private workforce. You don't need as many regulations, and paired with this, Trump also came out the other day and said that he intends to continue to institute his policy of deregulation. So basically he's gone full Reagan mode, and we're talking first term, good Ronald Reagan, as opposed to, mediocre Ronald Reagan from his second term in office. The idea is that you have to cut 2 regulations for every regulation you create. I support this. Now, all regulations are not created equal, in all honesty. So it's a little bit of a facade, admittedly. But it's better than the alternative, which is that you're just creating new regulations and nothing else comes off the books. If we can shave down, like, for instance, U.S. tax code, I could probably fill this fucking office with the U.S. tax code. This entire house couldn't hold all of the regulatory paperwork that would be necessary just at the federal level. And keep in mind, the federal government, in the sense of bills and stuff like that, is relatively parsed down compared to the bureaucratic structure, which is at work here, which is what Trump's talking about, or state law. I mean, there's a reason why 100 years ago you hired a lawyer. Today you hire an accounting lawyer, or a divorce lawyer, or a criminal defense attorney, or you get the idea, or elder law or something like that. They have to specialize. The laws are so profuse, the regulations so profuse, that no single individual, even if they had the IQ of Nikola Tesla, would be able to navigate through all of the bureaucratic paperwork. I don't even know that it would be physically possible, assuming that you intend to sleep and eat and shit. I don't know that it would be possible for a single individual to actually go through the entire U.S. regulatory code and be able to understand it in their entire lifetime, even if it was never expanded further. It's an enormous amount of paperwork. It reminds me of the dystopian movie Brazil. And if you've never seen it, you definitely should. A little bit of 80s nostalgia there. It's a dystopian movie. Spoiler alert, so, skip the next couple of minutes if you haven't watched the movie and you intend to. An individual is basically driven insane by the profundity of regulatory and bureaucratic hurdles, ends up part of a dissident movement, actually, falls in love with a girl, unauthorized, by the way, and in the end is tortured until he goes completely insane. And it's a dystopian movie. It's basically about, there's one scene in which he's literally drowning in paperwork. That's basically what we've got at the federal level and the state level in the United States. Now, some states do it better than others, of course. Some of them have much less regulation and taxation. But any increase in efficiency at the bureaucratic level, just federally, would be an improvement on the current system. So when Trump says, I'm going to remove 2 regulations for everyone passed, that's good. I would say get rid of 10 for everyone or something like that, and then have him pass a bunch of new regulations so that all the old ones eventually go away. You could pretty much game the system if you wanted to at the executive level, for certain bureaus, of course. axe some of the manpower. Again, I'm a moderate. I'm a classical liberal. I just want to be able to carry me musket around and shit like that. And drink raw milk, and eat turtle soup and stuff like that. That being said, I would go a lot further. Donald Trump is a mild reformer. He's like 1983 Ronald Reagan. That's basically what Donald Trump is. He may even have some nostalgia for that era. That might literally affect his policies. Because, of course, that was his total time to shine. I mean, not that he's really had much of a career trajectory. I mean, he simply goes up and up. You got the 80s with the big boom. In the 90s, he's doing like in 2000s, he's doing like the Stern Show and shit like that. He's big in the media. You got The Apprentice and Rosie O'Donnell and all of these other wonderful things. Trump has had a very interesting life. But he may have a little bit of nostalgia for the era. He's basically like 82, 83 Reagan. Deregulation, freezing government spending, and then this concept of accountability within the government to try to increase its efficiency. It's similar to what Ronald Reagan actually did. It's almost like Trump is borrowing Reagan's homework, and Kamala Harris is borrowing Clinton's and Biden's homework. It's a very strange electoral period. I mean, these next couple of months are going to be lit no matter what happens. You can imagine more crazy shit will happen. It's inevitable. I can guarantee that to you right now. Because Ronald Reagan, every year, they released like a little government booklet talking about wasteful spending. Here's where your tax money went, and then would list off all the weird shit that was happening. These days, only Fox News really does that, actually. I hope that Trump goes back to that basic concept, too. Well, you paid $5 million to study how many pages of paper certain bullets could pierce, or something like that. And it's like, God, a YouTuber will do that for free and get revenue from doing so. Government can only spend your money. They can't make revenue. The government is incapable of making sound investments because it has no impetus to do so. It has unlimited resources because it can just print more money. If you can therefore parse down the bureaucracy, I would say by 50%. I'm a moderate. Trump is looking more at 5 to 10%, but it's still an improvement. It would still save us boatloads of goddamn money, hundreds of billions of dollars. The only thing that I think he wouldn't parse through with regards to that is the U.S. military. But the U.S. military is so woke right now that it'll take years to restore it anyway, so it doesn't really matter now, does it? We're paying people who are completely incompetent, apparently. We've got some fucking problems there. I strongly support auditing federal agencies. I would also say audit the Fed, because I think you'll find some crazy shit there. Oh, you lost $1 trillion or something like that. I think that the public deserves to know the truth. They deserve to know what's going on. Now, the average Joe public is not going to be able to dig deep into statistical data and analyze it with any particular accuracy. But there are people that can, that are specialists in their fields, can get that data to people, do write-ups, make it more terse, and give them the long and short of it. Here's the short description of what happened with this bureau. If you want the long description to analyze, it's available here, and a link in the description or something like that. But here's the long and short of it. And that's what I think should happen. I think we need much more transparency and certainly efficiency within government. So if Trump is making this dual pitch on economics and on regulation, yeah, just another reason to vote for him. I think it's a great idea. That's about all. Peace out.